in light of the popularity of
Mhm.
the three streams theory, of Anglo-Catholic, evangelical, and charismatic, particularly thinking about the evangelical Reformed wing and the Anglo-Catholic ritualism wing. Um, what can the high church tradition offer them? How can the high church tradition, if one were to read the sources, how could that bridge the gap between those two wings? What kind of clarity can it offer both in terms of all that you said about sacramental theology, ecclesiology, etc., but with a little, just a little more succinct form with due to time. But how can it bridge the gap potentially?
Okay, time to get your tin hat on. First of all, the problem with the three streams theory is all three streams have a focus outside of Anglicanism.
Amen.
The charismatics accept a lot of Pentecostal thinking. The Anglo-Catholics accept a lot of late medieval, early modern Roman Catholic thinking. The evangelicals are probably the most at home, but the locus of their Reformed theology tends to be Geneva, not Cambridge.
And certainly a
Uh,
post-Princeton type of Reformed
yeah,
theology.
all of them tend to pull in a direction that's outside of Anglicanism. What the old high churchmen, and quite honestly, I would say the old evangelicals like Charles Simeon offered, was a churchmanship that is securely rooted in the Anglican formularies. So the prayer book, the 39 articles, the homilies, the ordinal. It's also a biblical form of theology that is aware of and draws on the early fathers.
Yes.
So if you like, the old high churchmen are the bridge that allow the other groups to talk to each other without it becoming a screaming match between separate traditions within the same organization.
Yeah. That's so helpful.
The tendency of three streams theology is you get crossover groups. So you get
Hmm.
charismatic Catholics, you get evangelical Catholics, you get charismatic evangelicals. And in a way, although these hybrid groups can, in a way, serve as the glue to keep the thing stuck together, there's no sort of mass of Anglican churchmen in the middle,
Yeah. Yeah.
of the ordained variety. I think a lot of the laity are that way
Yes.
because the laity are rather impervious to the whims of the clergy, God bless them.
Right.
The whims of the clergy have done more damage to Anglicanism than anything else. But the long and the short of the matter is what the old high churchmanship was the glue that glued everything together. And in England, it was kind of rebranded as Central Churchmanship around 1900. And the vast majority of Church of England parsons would have described themselves as being Central Churchmen.
Yeah.
In some way, they kind of reference back to this old high church theology, but they didn't really think of themselves as being high church anymore because the Anglo Catholics had nicked the name.
Right.
And what American Anglicanism lacks at the moment, actually, I think probably world Anglicanism lacks at the moment, is this basic, orthodox, middle of the road Anglican theology that's not embarrassed about itself.
Yes. I think, sorry, go continue.
And that actually has an ecumenical purpose because with traditional Anglicanism having connections with both the Reformed and the Lutheran traditions, there is a way in which Anglicanism, if it's true to its own identity, can begin to pull the various strands of magisterial Protestantism together.
Yes. And it seems as though, Anglo-Catholics focus on ecumenism with, based on the, branch theory. Their
Hmm.
emphasis is on a group, the Roman Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church, which do not even view the orders as valid. And it seems like that is just a wall that's too high to climb. And then when you add, w women's ordination into the mix, just another obstacle. Whereas there's this whole ripe field of Protestants, and I mean, obviously the Reformed Episcopal Church in its founding has some
Hmm.
questionable motive, but you do see in Bishop Cummings this desire to have the episcopacy as a unifying force. and
Yes.
aim towards fellow Protestants. And it's
You
interesting
see,
that this riper harvest in some ways is what's neglected with the opportunity at hand for visible unity
mm,
in that realm. And the emphasis seems to be in an area where there is very little chance of real progress being made as the way the
true.
communion stands.